Growing up the son of Walt Blackhall wasn't easy. It was no piece of cake. He was the toughest son of a bitch I ever knew. I looked up to him, I feared him, revered him, and every chance I could tried to emulate his behaviors, and I still do. My dad was larger than life to me. He was that guy all at once, dancing across the trusses of a roof he was framing with great agility and no fear. Wearing his cut-off Levi's, maybe a tattered shirt, he could be heard yelling, "God damn it!" so emphatically it almost sounded romantic. He was a carpenter by trade, and he was an exceptionally gifted one at that. There wasn't anything our dad couldn't do when he had a hammer in one hand and a can of Coors in the other. And on winter days and all through the night, my sisters and I could hear him driving the county snowplow all through the roads of Fish Camp. We could almost pinpoint his location by the sound of the rotors and blower. He was, at least to us, the town hero. And like so many boys growing up in the 60s and 70s, ours was a distant relationship at best. I think in part it was because of his own relationship with his father, a Scottish immigrant and veteran of World War I who died when our dad was still just a teenager. But there are some notable moments of compassion from my dad that still resonate. Like when he carried me on his shoulders, through the snow, from a neighbor's house to ours after one of my many ski accidents. There were a lot of them, trust me. Or when in the 7th grade, he took me on a road trip so I could see the land, to a road trip to the California-Oregon border, so I could see the land, 20 acres of land that had been handed down to him so many years ago, in which he was now handing down to me. And I still own that land. And these gestures of compassion, well, they were rare, and they were understated, but they were intentional. And because of that, they're extremely meaningful. It really wasn't until after college, when I launched my career and began climbing the corporate ladder, that our relationship really began to mature. It was at this time that my dad regarded me as a man, and that fulfilled a lifelong dream. And this is when it became to understand the mystique that is Walt Blackhall. He had this simplicity to him that was hard not to admire, perhaps even envy just a little bit. For what he loved, perhaps more than anything, were these mountains and the myriad of roads that meander through its countryside. I can remember on any one of my visits, hour-long drives, heading up Road 600, down to Bailey Flat, and over to Raymond. Sometimes stopping just to view a lone tree sitting at the crest of a hill. He had a connection with that lone figure. He identified it with it. I looked at that tree as a metaphor to my dad's life. A rough exterior with a beauty all its own, and a root system that could withstand the test of time. And these drives, it was here, on these drives in this area, where my dad found solace. And these drives of ours, they could take hours. And they often included a stop at the Hills Pride Inn for a beer and more reminiscing. This is where I believe we made our deepest connection. And these drives, this time with him, is what I'm going to miss most about him. And our dad held this certain affinity for the Raymond Museum that held the artifacts that from his mother's side of the family. And he often made that drive on Sundays, just to maintain that connection with his history. And the stone lion that his uncle carved, Peter Basson, so many years ago, still stands guard at the entrance to the Raymond Rock Quarry, to testament to our family's enduring legacy. This community, these mountains, this is our dad's home. And he made it goddamn clear to my sisters and me, it was here where he was going to die. And he did. When my wife and I last visited him in June, I looked to my dad as I did as a boy. That tough son of a bitch who's still larger than life to me. Walt Blackhall was tough, ruggedly handsome, often alone in his thoughts, and as many of you know, a little flirtatious with the ladies. He was and always will be one of a kind. And to Lisa O'Kane, Carrie Ann Burfield, and me, well, we're proud to call him our dad. And may he, as the Scots say in Gaelic, Wad Dehut, or rest in peace. Thank you.